because most organizations are just dealing with goals, targets, and stuff like that. Many times they don't even understand the sacrifice that goes on from the individual perspective, to get to that point. Many organizations believe that the moment they pay you, they believe they've actually paid for everything. But you would agree with me that many times what is being put in uh, also needs to be understood and also acknowledged. So basically, we'll be looking at very few things this morning. And permit me to just share my screen. Please permit me to share my screen. So I believe we can all see my screen. Please, I want you to indicate from the comment section if you can see my screen. Just do a thumbs up. We can see your screen. We can see your screen. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, thank you. So, so basically, the goal is to look at emotional intelligence and workplace harmony. So I want to ask from the chat section, or you can just unmute, or you signify by the raise of hand. What do you understand by workplace harmony? Just in simple terms, I mean, simple sentence. What does workplace harmony means to you? Because this definition could mean different things to different people. So in your own thought, what do you think workplace harmony signifies? Anybody? Okay, Prince, please go ahead. You can unmute and speak.
Okay, so basically workplace harmony is a state where employees interact respectfully, communicate effectively, and work together cooperatively to achieve shared goals with minimal conflict.
Okay, if I hear you clearly, togetherness to achieve certain goals. Okay. Who can give probably another perception? Yes, please, Oluwatimileyin.
Okay, I would say workplace harmony simply means like inclusivity, like a setting where there's unity, where everybody voice is heard and everybody has the chance to contribute to whatever is going on in the setting, in the workplace, to achieve the goal that has been set.
Okay, fantastic. That sounds similar with Prince's definition. Okay. Well, from the two definitions, basically, we are all used to working together, achieve goals as an organization, which is brilliant. But working together has two major sides. Okay, the intellect side, which is talking about cognitive skills that are required to get a job done. Then the other side is the emotional quotient, okay, that allows for effective social interaction, that even after achieving those goals, you don't damage relationships. Because we have had cases of several organizations that, yes, they achieve goals, but they damage a lot of relationships along the way. And that kind of success is typically not sustainable, because eventually people who do not feel recognized or appreciated or understood in the process might eventually want to say, oh, come on, I think this organization or this particular team, does not deserve my best, because that part of them were not taken care of. So basically, that togetherness is what we're trying to understand better, so that when we are working together as a team, we are not only driven by the goals, but we are also driven by the fact that we are supposed to understand one another, and also seek for individuals' best in the process. So I have a few more questions because of time. I probably might just take two more questions. So how do you typically react when someone challenges you, probably at work? Have you ever had that situation before? Or have you ever been in a situation where someone said something that it was wrong, but the person was saying that at that particular time to save his face, probably at a management meeting, for instance, or at a certain meeting? How do you feel? How do you feel when somebody challenges you, especially when you think you have a certain idea about how things gets done, and someone just challenges the idea, or sometimes in the process make you feel bad? I've found a situation where a boss, one of the team members, gave an idea to a boss, and the boss said blatantly that this idea is uninspiring. But eventually, that was the idea that worked in that organization. Okay, so eventually the boss was not ready to openly apologize, and he just mentioned that, oh, I just made certain modifications to this idea so that it can look better. But when you look at those modifications, it does not even change the core of what you presented in the first place. So, but we are not going to that at the moment, but I'm saying that, how do you typically react when someone challenges you? Do you feel embarrassed? Do you feel depressed? Do you feel probably there is something about the idea you are trying to push out that is incomplete? So I want you to answer that question in the chat section. How do you react typically when someone challenges you? Just one or two answers so that we can move quickly. I think I'm enjoying this class already. So let's use the chat section. Or if you can just raise up your hand, then I'll call you on mute to speak for ease. Okay. All right, while we wait for that, because of time, there's another question I want you to probably speak to. How do you react when someone misjudge you or misjudge your intentions? Do you feel afraid? Do you promise yourself you will not, give further suggestions or ideas again? Or do you think that, oh, this person misjudged me because it doesn't have the kind of information that I have, so his judgment is skewed because of the fact that you believe he doesn't have information? Or sometimes you just feel like, oh, this person misjudge people at all times. So you have this prejudiced feeling about the person. Okay. Also, how do you handle your worst day at work? Do you tell yourself, come on, I'm not coming the next day? Or you think that there could be something wrong with my delivery, and also how I deliver my deliverables? Does it call for reflection? Do you, or you just say, come on, man, I'm not going to do this again. So please, also, what do you wish people understand about you? You know, these are questions that most times drive certain emotions and subconscious decisions among the workforce, among team members. You know, that when these questions aren't clearly understood or addressed, it will most likely affect performance. And while organizations are looking at performance, okay, these are factors that are beyond just the skills, that are beyond just capabilities in terms of ability to get things done, you know, but they are critical factors that also determines the person that is also doing the delivery. And the most important resource in any organization are its people. I've always said it, no country can develop beyond the quality of its human capital. No country. And no organization can develop beyond the quality of its people. So the essence of having quality experience at work is positively correlated with performance as well. Okay, because of our time, I believe many of us understand what emotional intelligence is, but it's very good to also do a reminder. So what is emotional intelligence, basically? Is the ability to navigate our own individual emotions and also understand other people's emotion. Okay, it involves the skills to understand, to label, to express, and regulate emotions. You would agree with me that this is a part that must not be neglected in any team. Many of us would remember the kind of clash that happened between Osimhen and Ademola Lookman at the last AFCON. Well, for those who don't watch football, you may not understand that, but that story, you'll find out that someone noticed that after that experience with Ademola Lookman did not score any goal after that experience. Ademola Lookman's performance dipped after that experience. So basically, beyond just understanding who you are as a person, you must understand how the emotions of others too, and how to bring those two together. Someone once mentioned that your action has two reactions, so to say. One is the impact, and the second is the effect. The impact is on the other persons, while the effect is on yourself. I will give an instance. You must have probably had this experience before, where you had to get a particular hair because somebody was wearing that hair. Now, you don't even know the person, but because you like it on that person, you have to go and buy it. That is the impact of that person's outlook on you. The effect is probably she looks good and she feels confident, fantastic. That is the effect on her. But the impact is on you because it drives you into, or it stimulated you into certain action to also buy. Okay, it also goes for guys too. Probably you saw a shoe and man, I need to get this kind of shoe. So basically, emotional intelligence is to understand that your decision, your action has a dual effect, or there's a dual reaction. The effect on yourself and the impact on others. And it is always very selfish when you just focus on the effect of your action on yourself and not looking at the impact on others. So emotional intelligence bridges this gap so that effectively we can deal with people and also achieve what we need to achieve. So basically, emotional intelligence is about three things: recognizing your emotions, understand others' emotion, and manage both effectively. So what are the feelings in the workplace? There are hundreds of feelings, if I may put it that way. While some people seem like they always like to find trouble, okay? They find fault in everything some other people do. Others are thinking of, man, I'm going on vacation in 2 days, okay? Whatever you guys are doing is not my problem, okay? Some people get depressed about criticism, while some people, as much as possible, they just want to avoid conflict. They just do yes and yes and yes and yes, and you hardly get them to say no as much as possible. They just want to please everybody, and that alone could be challenging. While someone is tired of everyone's feeling, because probably this person might just be the ear that listens to everybody's complaints, and well, we are here for business and not this is not a family thing, okay? But nevertheless, the goal is to just ensure that while office is not a family uh, thing, we must give ourselves the best experience, okay, to ensure that the essence and the long-term sustainability of the organization is achieved. So, what are the things that there was a research I did recently, and uh, I asked different people in different workplaces, how would you, though it was a leadership thing, but I believe it can also suffice for engagements like this. I was asking this question: how do you describe your team leader? How do you describe people you're working with? How do you do that? And there are hundreds of different descriptions, and that I have put together in a I use animals to explain those perception. Okay, the perception from my personal perspective is not a complete reflection, because you have to look at two sides, probably from the person A and from person B. But overall, there are certain reflections that people have about the way people work, or the people they work with. The first is what I categorize as snake in the evil shadow. Now, this is not a Jackie Chan's movie, okay? But it is a behavior of people that um, they seem to be cunning, but yet structured, okay? They operate within goal and performance system. They are aligned with management objective. Their methods are calculated, but majorly self-serving. Okay, they hit targets, but through manipulation rather than inspiration. Okay, this is a category of people that other people really think in this direction. I also have a snake in monkey shadow. These ones are highly cunning and deeply skilled. And these are the kind of people that majorly probably they come to you, they speak bad about the management so that they can get your empathy and or sympathy, so that you can work for them. Okay, but at the end, it's a strategy to just get the best performance from you, okay, that is connected to their name, okay, while leaving you with the impression that the management is bad. Those kind of things. So we also have, I call lion uh, in the lamb shadow, okay, lion the lamb shadow. These are people that are of serious influence, but they don't make so much noise. They are strong, they are decisive, they command respect without demanding it. Okay. We also have lamb in the lion's shadow. Okay. I don't know why I was calling out all of these things. Well, you can't see it anywhere. These are my copyrights. So, lamb in the lion's shadow, they appear bold and authoritative, but they lack depth. Okay. All they do is show off, but no substance. Okay. These are people's perception about people they are working with. Uh, does it mean it's a complete perception? No. So we also have people who are visionary, strategic, principled, gold standard. All they want is excellence. Anything short of excellence is not acceptable. Okay, they believe they need to inspire you to get the work done, and not just and they lead by example. Okay, not just words. So these are, the workplace contains mix of these archetypes. Okay, but the question isn't who people perceive you to be, but the question is which one uh, have you chosen to become. But whichever one you have choose to become, remember, it has both impact and effect, and that is what we want to make sure it is addressed this morning. So when people have this kind of perception, okay, there's some certain uh, reactions that comes around, and these are the things that triggers emotion. And so what are the kind of emotions, okay, these things trigger will be like, okay, people may be resistant to change. Okay, people begin to grow attitude problems. Uh, People would lack motivation. When they see that, oh, you took my idea, you don't even recognize me in the process. So leading to team conflicts, and all of these things can also affect performance. Can also affect performance. But majorly, many organizations don't even look deep into all of these things as long as performance is done. But anyways, in terms of performance, when you measure it quantitatively and you do the analysis critically, sometimes you might hit, let's say year one, you hit somewhere around, let's say 500, let's say 5 trillion in year one. Year two, you hit 10 trillion. And year three, you hit somewhere around 13 trillion. Now, if you look at it quantitatively, you want to conclude that the organization is progressing. But if you look at it marginally, you find out that the marginal profit is dropping because the difference between the first year and the second year is 5, while the difference between second year and third year is 3. Although it looks like a progress, but if you look at the profit marginally, is dropping. So basically, if we analyze sometimes the kind of progress we've been making over time and we look at it marginally, it will help us to understand why some things aren't working the way we wanted them. And this is where we can also look at and see how we can address things that are around the emotions. So we're still going to get there quickly. So what are the things to consider if we want to transform everyday workplace interaction? For instance, a team member misses a deadline, and instead of immediate criticism, the manager asks about the obstacles they are facing. Okay. Many times, a lot of managers don't probably run an open door policy. And the fact is that if your team members cannot share their thoughts, their emotions, their challenges with you, it's a red flag, because you are driving like an injured player. You're forcing him to play. He won't give the best. He might dress well with all the kits, and you feel like, oh, this guy is fit to play. But there are some things that are wrong inside, and that is what you need to identify first, address, before you put him into full use. So basically, this refers to helping your team members overcome obstacles. Okay, and while some organizations have certain regulations around probably getting involved in other people's business, but basically when you understand that someone's output becomes your own input, okay, there is a responsibility to ensure for the overall goal of the organization you support the person bringing out your output, okay, so that the quality of your input too for your own output can be better. But basically what I'm saying is that instead of immediate criticism, you investigate why the team member is missing deadlines. What are the challenges? What are the obstacles? From that conversation, you will be able to understand why, and you can provide certain support that the person needs. Okay, why some people, all they needed to hear from you as a manager is, how are you doing today? That's all. How are you doing today? And some people, when they tell, when they hear, how are you doing today? It's enough to say, sir, I am not fine. Okay, so tell me what is wrong. Oh, this is the challenge. Oh, why not do it this way? Why not do it this way? And the person finds solace and also finds uh, that particular issue that is creating a kind of distraction is being sorted, and performance and efficiency increases. Also, we look at during disagreements, colleagues focus on understanding perspective rather than winning the argument. Okay, when disagreement happens, okay, it's not enough to say I won the argument, okay, but understanding the perspective of the other person and see what your argument is lacking, what the other argument is lacking, and see how you can do more of a consensus, so that when you create a roadmap based on your conversation, everybody becomes very responsible for it. So also team collaborations acknowledge individual contribution and personal milestone, not just business outcomes. I think I've emphasized this as well. So how do we improve our emotional intelligence? Okay, why is emotional intelligence very important? I think this is also very critical. Number one, it helps decision making and productivity, stronger leadership and teamwork, greater empathy and better relationship, enhanced stress management and resilience, higher job satisfaction. So from all the examples I have given and shared, you see it has all these items in it. And the study emphasized that intelligence quotient or intellectual intelligence only attributes for 20% in the success of people, whereas 80% is a contribution of emotional intelligence. So it is something that we should give credence to. And so what are the dimensions of emotional intelligence? Okay, there are 4 dimensions. The first one is self-awareness. The second, self-management. The third, relationship management. And the fourth, social awareness. So self-management just is the ability to recognize your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts and behavior. Knowing your strength and your weakness, and to basically have self-confidence. So basically, self-awareness is evaluating yourself, understand your triggers, and see how you can grow competence in managing yourself. Okay. Then the second one is self-management. Okay. Now, self-awareness is the input for self-management, because when you understand who you are, it will be easier for you to self-control yourself, okay, adapt, and also be conscious about uh, the reactions to your actions. Like I mentioned, your action has two-edged swords. The effect on yourself and the impact on others. So social awareness talks about the ability to observe and understand the emotion and needs and concerns of other people, while relationship management is the ability to develop and maintain good relationship, communicate clearly, and ensure that the impact of your action is more of a responsible type, okay, and not detrimental. So what are the key areas emotional intelligence can improve us as individuals? It improves our communication because before we react, we have, or before we even initiate any conversation or react to any communication or to any conversation, we've thought through, we have understood, we've already put ourselves in the person's shoe, okay, to understand, like what I always say, you take yourself out of yourself and read what you have written and see if you understand it from a third party point of view or from a second party point of view. So when you understand it from a second or third party point of view and there are no ambiguity, then you are good. So it also improves your attitude and personal development, professionalism and work ethics, adaptability and resilience, psychological well-being, and interpersonal and social skills. So how do we strengthen our emotional intelligence? Before you respond to anything emotionally, take a pause, okay? Think through. And all these things can happen within seconds anyway. Before you take action. Number two, practice naming your emotion with specificity. So if you think you are hot-tempered, if you think you don't take your time to read through things before you respond, or probably you read your perception out of a particular situation, then you might also want to be clear about that part of you that you need to work on, so that when communications or engagement or situation occurs, you understand from the general perspective and not misinterpret it based on your own perception. So ask genuine questions to understand other people's perspective. And this is where I need to emphasize a bit. Most people have a lot of questions in their mind when situation occurs, or probably there's a need to get some things done. But most times they don't ask. And they just say, oh, everybody is fine. Are you fine? They say, yes, you go. And when they come back with challenges. So to avoid this, as much as possible, ask genuine questions. Okay. The reason why you're asking this question is not to criticize, it's not to condemn, it's not to, it does not, asking for clarity or help is not a suggestion that you are weak, or is a suggestion that you are genuinely interested in the success of that particular engagement. Okay, so don't be afraid to ask questions genuinely and seek other people's perspective so that everybody can be on board. Okay, and the last one is notice and acknowledge emotional states. So if someone is not happy, sometimes you see it and you don't ignore. Try and find out what is going on and provide necessary support where you can, okay, to your ability or to the limit of your office capability. Okay, so if there's any question, I would like to have them, if we can type them on the chat, or we can just share them. Probably we raise up our hands and then we unmute. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Akinfala. Thank you for that insightful engagement on emotional intelligence and workplace harmony. Please, do you have any question, contribution? You want to ask any question, please, you can type on the chat box or you can show by raising up of your hands. Okay, so while we're still waiting for a question to be asked, I just want to ask a question. Thank you, Mr. Kifala. You really highlighted a lot about emotional intelligence and how we can transform our everyday workplace interaction, most especially on how to handle mistakes, disagreements, and recognition. But there's a particular point you mentioned when you're talking about the emotional triggers that you're focusing on, rather than winning during this engagement, it's something about many teams struggle in practice. So my question now to you is that how can managers consistently apply this approach when you have been faced in an high pressured environment where deadlines and performances are critical? That is, how can managers consistently apply this approach in high pressured environments? When we have deadlines and we have performance targets that are meant to be met and they are very much critical. How can we apply this approach just like you've engaged us on? Do you understand, sir?
All right. Thank you for that question. It's very important to address that. About 2 weeks ago, I was facilitating a training on rethinking leadership in workplace. Okay. As a leader, it is your responsibility. There is a usual saying that what happens to you is not as important as your attitude towards what happens. In fact, somebody said what happens to you is just 10%, while your attitude towards what happens is 90%. So when a leader in a workplace is not driven, I'm talking of a leader now. If a leader is only driven by deadlines and pressures and stuff like that, what it does basically is to transfer that as an aggression on his team members. And that over time has not demonstrated emotional intelligence. A leader is not controlled by pressure. Okay, what leaders does basically is to envisage it. Okay, because pressure don't just happen. Pressure happens because at some point the ball was dropped or somebody didn't live up to certain expectations and you had to collapse time in order to achieve something that has a certain frame or time frame that has been designed already. But because ball dropped in the process, you have to collapse the time in order to still meet up with the goal. So that is what creates tension. But as a leader, it is your responsibility to prevent this in the first place by ensuring that every milestones on your way is achieved. And to achieve that basically is to ensure that everybody is in high spirit, understanding both their skills and both their competence and their emotion side to ensure they get there. But in a situation where this has happened, okay, a leader does not transfer, okay, the pressure to his team. What it does is to convert that pressure to energy. So that energy becomes inspiration. Now, you now communicate to your team members the goal, but in a in a certain context. Now, this context will make them realize that they are all responsible for the achievement of this thing. So it's not about you anymore. but about collective responsibility. When communication is made and the context, okay, is well stated, okay, then it will not become transfer of aggression, but it will now become a collective responsibility to ensure that you meet the target and you cross the line. I think that is clear.
Thank you very much for that. That's well understood. Please, do we have any other question? We want anybody or anyone to speak, probably a contribution, a question, just to see that there's a feedback and there's an interaction based on what we've learned today on emotional intelligence and workplace harmony. What are our key lessons, our key take-home, our key takeaways? What are the things we've learned over time? Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Lainka, you can have your time, sir.
Thank you. A very big shout out to Mr. Victor Oluwasegun Akinfala. Please, let's applaud him. What he has done this morning is to wake up our dormant emotional intelligence. I like to say that CETA has one of the youngest demographics in any corporate world, anywhere in the world. A team personally I'm very proud of, that we are holding our own in spite of our age, in spite of our generation, and we are also not relenting when it comes to acquiring new knowledge. So this morning, you have woken us up to the fact that just burying our hairs in our workstations and laptop will not be sufficient. But because we are pushing the boundary when it comes to teamwork, then we are delving seriously into emotional intelligence. Just yesterday, one of our most hardworking and very respected members of our team, I had to drag him out of his place of work and engage him on a 30 minutes of something totally unrelated to his work. By the time he returned to work, his energy level has doubled. So, and the great lessons we're learning today is for everyone to understand that emotional intelligence has to come to play in a workplace, because we have to relate with others and we need that synergy with others to be able to achieve results. And the fact that the quality and the size and the volume of our deliverables is such that we need to hold each other's hands with a positive mindset that we are not going to sink, but we are going to swim. And I would just encourage every member of our team that please use every opportunity to have better understanding about emotional intelligence, and let's continue to apply it. We need to go beyond being silos to ourselves. Yes, we are very strong and good at delivering on our commitment. But now, if we work together as a team, we understand that, when you go alone, you go fast. But when you go with others, you go very far. So I just want to say thank you and to encourage everyone who is on this call that is a new day on emotional intelligence. And if we strengthen our teamwork, both ourselves and CETA will be the better for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that encouragement and that insightful thoughts. CETA, we are always doing it better. Okay. Precious Bello, you can unmute and speak.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Victor. Thank you for that insightful session. I have a very few contributions to make. So I think workplace harmony isn't about avoiding conflict completely, because differences will always come up. We all come from different environments, different background, and all of that. So I feel it's more about how we handle those moments with respect, listening, and understanding each other's perspective. And something as simple as acknowledging people's efforts can go a long way. Take, for example, there's a situation I always make reference to whenever I have the opportunity. Sometime in 2024, here in the organization, here in CETA, we had a virtual training was it a training? No, we had a virtual inspection here in Abuja Depot, which was headed by Mrs. Dami Lola. I think that was the first time I was interfacing with her. And after the inspection, there was a whole lot to learn and unlearn. And at the end of the day, she commended myself and even gave me a cash gift. Honestly, that very gesture from her, it boosted my morale like from 0 to 100, because before then, every time in my head, I'm like, oh, I keep doing this, I keep doing that. And it's like nobody is seeing you, nobody is appreciating your efforts, nobody is even acknowledging the fact that, oh, this person just came into the system and some way, somehow, things are being done. And yes, there would be mistakes here and there are lapses here and there. But that single gesture, I would not even like, it boosted my morale from a 0 to 100, and it's changed my perspective entirely to how I handle my job, how effective I became afterwards, and all of that. So basically, I just want to say, when people feel seen and respected, it naturally improves how we work as a team. So for me, emotional intelligence is really what helps us to stay professional, support each other, and still achieve our goals at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Precious. That has been noted, and also thank you for that contribution. Collective responsibility and still achieving our goals, emotional intelligence enables us to be at it. Please, any other contribution, questions before we take call it a day? Please, we want us to speak so that our facilitator will be aware that, yes, we have an understanding of what emotional intelligence can do for us in our workplace, not working in silos, but how best we can work as a team and we can continually go ahead and do it better. So please, we just need 1 or 2 contributions before we call it a day.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Ma. Thank you very much, Ma.
Okay. Good morning, facilitator, Mr. Akinfala, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct,
sorry,
Ma.
I joined late. Thank you very much. I joined late. My name is Modupe Adebenjo. Thank you so much for bringing it to our remembrance again that we need to work with ourselves in harmony, even though we have this understanding that workplace is not a friendship center. It's a business place. We all came from different backgrounds, different culture and different understanding. And now all these different cultures need to work together as a team. So it's neither here nor there. It's from top to bottom, also from bottom up. When you have a team member that, this is a question, that how do you now manage or navigate through a team member that's consistently not truthful to the assignment given to him. And at every point in time, it slowed down the entire team. As much as you want to understand his emotions, when you have also discovered your own emotion, and you still want to align to make him work better. But some of these team members feels, oh, no, this is the best I can do. And I can't go beyond this. And most often it slows you down, even when you pick it up to still do it by yourself as a leader, even to feel, okay, it's a teamwork and we need to deliver. But consistently, this comes to play. And blood is still running in our veins. So as a professional, what do you think we can do? Thank you very much.
Mr. Victor, did you get a question?
All right. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so much for that very important question. Now, integrity is critical when it comes to workplace productivity. And I believe strongly that in a situation like that, that is not the only person that can probably do that thing. Okay, that is one. Number two, the person might actually might not. The reason for dishonesty also needs to be investigated. But let me just put it in a clear perspective. Number one, like someone rightly mentioned, we all came from different backgrounds, different experiences, and different exposure. Some people lie to, this is an alter ego now. Probably they always think that that's always the way they can always protect themselves and stuff like that, which is absolutely wrong. Number two is that some people lack competence. Okay, so in a situation where the person lacks competence, I don't know the framework of this your workplace, but you can just ease the person out for a training. Okay, ease the person out, and the way I think is that when somebody realizes that he or she is less involved in the overall achievement of the goal of the department, and notice that he's been or she's been gradually eased off, okay, naturally they will wake up. Because when you are putting KPIs together, definitely they'll be scoring very low mark. And that will naturally wake them up. So two things. Number one, create a system that will allow for self-accountability. Okay, somebody can lie successfully where there is no system for self-accountability. Now, if we are supposed to do 10 things and we are just 5 people, that means everybody gets 2 things to be done. So when you call your team together and you do a reflection, and the person realizes that he's the only person holding the team back, okay, it's not naming and shaming, but it is basically making the person understand clearly that the impact of his lackadaisical attitude is drawing the team back. So that needs to be well stated to him or her. And secondly, while you have taken all the necessary steps, probably you call for conversation, understand why what the problem is, help to solve. Now train a bit, probably 30 minutes of your day you train, and after doing all of that and that still does not work, the last resort is to bring down the weight of your authority. Okay, the mistake people do most times is to use authority first, okay, instead of making it the last resort. So after you have exhausted everything and the person still remain the way it is, push your query. It's as simple as that. You do the needful, because eventually is being laid back can also impact the perception the upper management will have about you when it comes to achieving your own goal. So would you rather be embarrassed as a result of your or your subordinate lackadaisical attitude to work? No, of course. But you would have done your best to bring the person in line. And when the person is not responding as expected, then you bring down the weight of your authority on him or her. You do inquiry and let HR take it up. It's as simple as that. Thank you. And remember, it is not wish hunting. It's an obvious situation. So that's the way it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm fine.
Thank you very much, Ma, and thank you, Mr. Victor Akinfala, for that contribution. Any other question before we call it a day? Okay. I just want one more person to speak so that we can wrap it up. Is there a contribution, a question from what we've learned and waking us up from emotional intelligence and workplace harmony? Okay. In the absence of none, I want to say a very big thank you, Mr. Akinfala, on behalf of management. I want to appreciate you for your time and taking out time to come around to facilitate this section and just to bring to our remembrance about what emotional intelligence is all about, dealing with human capital and workplace harmony. Do you have a final thought that you want to just share with us, and so that we can call it a day? Hello, Mr. Victor.
All right. So thank you all for taking your time to join this session. And I believe that after all of this conversation, we'll go back and identify things that we'll stop doing, things that we'll start doing, and the things that we'll improve on, and that will ensure that everybody is carried along and people's intellectual and emotional side are being respected, and the productivity improves. And we are all happy at the end, in terms of personal satisfaction as individual and the and the performance objective of the organization is achieved as well. So thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'd like to call on Tim Lane to just give us a vote of thanks. Tim Lane. Oh, okay. No problem. Thank you, each and every one of you, and thank you for the time spent. We appreciate you, and thank you for taking out time to join this knowledge sharing section. And this is going to continually, I think our facilitator had left, and it's going to continue next month also. We're going to have a wonderful section again. And we believe that we've learned one or two from this section, talking about emotional intelligence and workplace harmony. Please, at the end of this section, there's going to be a sheet, a link that's going to be shared just to get our feedback and how best we can improve on our knowledge sharing section. At this time, I just want to say thank you and do have a wonderful day. Yeah. Thank you all. Yes, thank you. Yeah, bye.